just trade on AUDJPY. I can see clearly. My plan before on this show was that the main price indicated this supply zone. I went for my short position, but I was too impatient. Yes, my main daily buyer was that price come down, take out this thing I which is me this A plus supply zone. Show me some rejection or taking out the first indication. Look for my short position, taking it all the way down. But I was too impatient to wait for the Tuesday up itself. So I went to the 15-minute time frame. I tried to trade the pullback, the supply zone. Trying to play the pullback with the supply zone itself. You can see this was like a demand zone that swept liquidity on the 15-minute time frame. See clears the I did not even look for break of struggle to the upside itself. So one of my second mistake. So this was like a demand zone. Part of take out the first communication. If I indicate this point of interest, if I initially pull back, take out the first communication, give me some rejection in price, but it's just like this kind of entry is not working. Like I've seen it. Like, this kind of entry is not working. On any of my accounts like Euro USD, GBP, JPY, even AED, I'll see that it's not working. So I want to change my entry criteria. But then the other thing I seen in the community was that the main price was like around here. Instead of me to wait for price to close above this 50-minute% swing to confirm a market shift, I was too impatient to wait for price to close above to show me that yes, price can potentially shift from bearish to bullish now. I was too impatient, like price filling up this supply, getting this supply zone to shift bearish instantly. So it was like my mistake. So I for this shade that I'll avoid trading the pullback most of the time now. I'll avoid trading the pullback. Instead, I will just focus on the trend continuation. You can see on the power time frame. So on the power time frame, clearly price is quite bearish. Can it break control to the downside? So like a free zone has swept liquidity. So I'm waiting for price to pull back in stand. Clearly the pull back of this supply line to show me some selling momentum, but I was still impatient to wait for this trade itself. Now, I'm expecting a big control to the downside. So my bias right now, like my chain direction now is that if price could break structure to the downside, if price could break structure to the downside, just like this, I'll tell you to pull back. I'll wait for price to pull back to the nearest supply zone. And I will not trade the pullback. I'll wait for price to come back. Wait for price to pull back to this nearest supply zone. Where is the nearest supply zone? Let's see. Clears the price nearest supply zone that swept liquidity is around here. Here's the got up right here. The main price reach what happened that sellers were ready for the short position. Sellers were ready for the short position early on this trade itself. So what happened? With that type of short right here, put the stop as well. Move these eyes right here. So as usual, man only bring the sweep liquidity above these eyes right here. Which make this place A plus supply because I swept liquidity. Then secondly, another confirmation was that price is breaking structure to the downside. Price need to break structure to the downside. Can't look for short around this selling position. The supply zone is where above where this is right here. This is the nearest what? This is the nearest supply zone. This is the nearest supply zone. The nearest 1 hour supply zone. So if price breaks structure to the downside, I said just like this. If price could break structure to the downside, just like this. Try to pull back and wait for price to pull back to this supply zone. You can see it clears the price right this above this swing right here. You can see all this swing there will be liquidity. So wait for price to what to sweep the liquidity above these eyes right here. The price to sweep the liquidity above these eyes. Then eventually that will pull back. Sweep the liquidity above this eye. Then look for my short position to trade the continuation to the downside. continue to now break or structure again. You can see. So now make sure to the downside again. You can see clears the. So this is my entire trading process right there. So I've learned what to do trade itself. I'm not trading the pullback anymore longer. I said before, I'm not trading the pullback anymore longer. I will just trade the continuation of the trend direction. I'm going to prepare to close below this swing low. Then prepare to pull back this supply zone. I'll look for my I said before I look at my long position safe. Look for my long position. So this is the entire process right here. If a price, to pull back, break structure to the downside, then you see, can you see this equal as what is this? This is liquidity. Got it. Double top. Can see clears the double top. So what will Silla put a stop loss, obviously? Silla will put a stop loss where above his eyes. Try to check the breakouts. And put a stop loss where above his eyes. Understand? So stop loss seller liquidity is above this swing high. You apply to sweep the liquidity first. Then look for my short position to continue your overall trend direction. That's my entire process right there. I think this week I'm gonna create a full process of how to trade the continuation of the trend, how to identify the daily bias, identify the trend direction, identify the point of interest. You want to take the trade on the direction, the location, then the what we gonna make the demand zone, the supply zone to be A plus demand, A plus supply zone. Then available liquidity, how to spot liquidity. So this week and I will create a video to to let you guys know how to trade the markets, the forex market itself. So yeah, I just love the trade. Like and I want another like again. Like I'm like in a really strict this month, or like up 7% this month before, or up like $7,000 before. But I've lost all the trades. Not like I was over trading or anything like that. But the day after day, I was breaking my rules and regulations. You can see clearly, some to wait for price to reach this supply zone. I jump in, enter in too early. They made me loss. You can see, so listen it. I don't need to rush again. Just wait for price to pull back. Reach my supply zone, my desired location. Look for my entry. I say to you guys to wait for price, be patient, to wait for price to pull back to your point of entry, to your desired area. So look for your position, how to sell, how to buy. So yeah, you can see obliquity trade. So this weekend, I'm gonna post a video. So I hope you guys watch the video and understand. And if you don't understand, you can see answer question on the on the channel. I will answer it for sure. I will give everybody my attention. Understand? So guys, it's for today. God bless.